Well, it's another viewer special, and I think some of you have been listening to what I've been saying after the various viewer specials on Duran. Don't get me wrong, folks. Great guy, and he sends a lot of content in. Thank you, by the way. But if you want newer questions, you've got to try and start sending more in, before Duran starts sending more in. Unless this starts becoming Ask Q&As with Duran or Duran Q&A, whichever your preference. But today's viewer special is Win the Rogue. How you doing? And your first question. Have you seen any of the recent shows coming out, i.e. Constantine, Agent Peggy Carter, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and if so, what are your thoughts? I've heard good things about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Peggy Carter, which X24 Rider has been very vocal about that with me. Now, I've not been viewing these, not out of personal disdain or just looking to avoid them. I simply just don't ever get the time for it, as I've stated quite a few times in the past. Working full time, going to the movies as and when I can, and then doing these video projects along with my various other schedules that I commit to, it's very rare when I do get a chance to watch something new, although I can recommend Arrow. Random DC got the first season of Arrow a few months back, and damn, that is the best TV series I've seen come out of America since Knight Rider SG. Opinion only. So, I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but seriously, if you've never seen Arrow, give it a look. And what is your second question? Question 2. If you were able to direct a comic book or video game movie, which franchise would you want to bring to film or remake? Interesting question. Direct a comic book or video game movie. On some degree, I would say Sonic the Hedgehog, but because Sony are actually bringing that to the forefront for presumably 2016, which would time very nicely with his 25th anniversary. Thank you. That's interesting. I don't know which one I would choose, to be honest with you, because there's so many good ones out there. I'd honestly like to give Bucky O'Hare a shot, because that started out as a comic book, and we all know that it was a TV series of either the very late 80s or at the very start of the 90s, and I love that series. I think made by the same animation company that was actually doing the 86 Turtles animated series, and he had a decent voice cast to go with that. Two voices to note were Long John Baldry and Scott McNeil, and I really dug the story that went there. The animation was decent, the score really complemented it. I think that would do very well if they were to consider bringing that back either as a TV series or as a movie. I would really like to see that done as a movie, because Bucky is just so underrated. So underrated that it's a crime, if I'm being honest. And your final question. Do you have a particular favourite book series you enjoy reading? If so, which series novel is it? I'm going to be straight up honest here. Books are not really my thing in the sense of fiction. I love to read autobiographies, particularly if you ever get a chance to read Michael J. Fox's memoirs, A Lucky Man. Really deep, honest read. The only fictional pieces I've ever read were the two Jurassic Park novels by the late Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park and The Lost World. And there are those books are a little bit darker than what the movies were. I mean, the movies had a contained level of darkness to them, considering, you know, the things that went on in those movies, but there were other things that went on. It's like, ooh. I would have liked to have read the books that Chloe Moretz had adapted into movies, like If I Stay and The Fifth Wave, that a lot of people are making a lot of noise about at the moment, which I do want to go have a look at, but that's not coming out till this time next year, and I don't know. I find with books, I only really tend to get into them if it's something that's of relevant interest to me. Like I say, mainly with autobiographies, particularly, like I say, with Michael J. Fox, David Hasselhoff's autobiography, Making Waves. The other ones that are quite good to read, I know this is not really the answers you were hoping to hear. Steve Austin's The Stone Cold Truth and Heartbreak and Triumph, Shawn Michaels' autobiographies. They're very deep, you know, honest, open up reads. There are some books where, like I say, with those, where I will lose myself in them, where it would be, say, 4 in the afternoon by the time I started reading, and then it's 8 in the evening by the time I finish. So, and Jurassic Park took up a fair portion of my time, so again, it has to be something that will catch my eye and really, you know, get into. So yeah, I suppose long-winded, you know, long story short, the Jurassic Park series, you know, that was really decent. Well, that's another round of 3 questions done. You know how this works by now. Twitter link in the outro, comment section below, and even come along to the Dynamic Night webpage. We'd love to see you over there, folks. But until then, ask again.